Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annelies and today I will be reviewing the latest fragrance collection released by Zara. I don't know what this collection is called. I'm not really seeing a name, but they all center around flowers, so florals. Let's just call it the floral collection. So if you're interested in getting to know these, keep on watching. But first, if you're like me and you love Zara fragrances, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of other Zara fragrance related content on my channel, mostly reviews. I also have some other fragrance reviews up on there, so feel free to check it out and subscribe if that's something you're interested in. So this collection contains of 5 new fragrances called Bloom Breeze, Floral Serenity, Lily's Nest, Enigmatic Lotus, and Evening Flowers. They retail for roughly 20 euros in Europe. It's probably gonna be less when you're in Spain. 30 US dollars and roughly 38 Canadian dollars. They come in bottles of 100 ml and they are all eau de parfums. Let me just already be honest with you and give a little bit of a, not really a disclaimer, but I just really wanna mention this because I'm just gonna spoil the whole collection already and tell you that I don't really like these fragrances. There is one that I think is okay. The other ones, I'm not impressed with them, unfortunately. And the reason why I'm already saying that is because, you know, I'm probably gonna be a little bit negative about the fragrances. I will go in depth in just a minute. But yeah, that is not because I'm a negative person or I, you know, have like beef with Zara or anything, or just because these are budget-friendly fragrances. Obviously, that is not the reason why I'm gonna be negative about them, because, you know, I love Zara fragrances in general. That is why I constantly review them. But it's just really, you know, it is more fun to be positive and to be super excited about the fragrances. But yeah, I'm just being honest on this channel, so I'm not gonna sugarcoat it all and say like, oh, you know, it smells great, when in fact I'm thinking, yeah, this is a pass, I'm gonna declutter this straight away. So honesty above all. Now, let's start with the first fragrance, and that is, I'm gonna do these in order of me having tested them. So the first one that I tried was Bloom Breeze. Also, none of these have been listed on Fragrantica like at this moment that I'm filming this. So I have no idea about the notes because Zara is hardly giving us any information on the boxes or the website. So the description of Bloom Breeze is easy like a Sunday morning, let the sunshine in as a new you arises. Which is all, you know, very poetically and everything, but yeah, it doesn't really tell us anything about the fragrance. So I gave this one a try. And my very first thought was, okay, it's pleasant, it's nice. And then that dry down started and I started getting some candiness as well as a tropical vibe. So I feel like this is a sweet floral, like a sweet floral tropical, but sweet in a sort of candy-like way type of fragrance. I kept on sniffing and my initial opinion about it being quite pleasant started to change, and I sort of started to feel like it smelled a little cheap. It started to smell like, or this is at least what I was imagining, it started to smell like a bottle of sunscreen. For some reason, I saw this orange colored plastic bottle of sunscreen, but like a very cheap sunscreen of a brand that nobody knows, something very local when you're on vacation. Nothing fancy, sort of industrial smelling, you know, they just added some sweet, like a sweet tropical scent to it, and that is what this smells like. So I think there's something nice about this fragrance. I don't think it's a bad fragrance, but like I said, the more it dries down, the more cheap it gets, and it also smells a little bit synthetic to me. I actually almost got a little bit of a plasticky, like a doll head type of vibe. So This one, if I had to compare it to fragrances that I know, I would say that it smells a little bit like, so don't take this too literally, okay, but it reminds me a little bit of, I was thinking Mugler's Alien Supra Floral or something, or Supra Floral if it's pronounced in French, I don't even know. I tried that flanker once and I wasn't really impressed. I thought it was nice, but it wasn't anything I'd never smelled before. It was just a little bit of a, yeah, like a tropical sweet floral scent, just like this one is. But then that plastic doll head thing that I'm getting a little bit here sort of reminds me of Love Don't Be Shy by Kilian. Now I know what you're thinking, like another Love Don't Be Shy dupe, but no, that is not the case, because Zara actually duped Love Don't Be Shy not once, not twice, but thrice. So there have been a few dupes for that one. This is not a dupe for it, but like I said, I'm getting the same Barbie doll head smell that I'm getting in Love Don't Be Shy in here, but not as strong. So it's just a little bit there. So to conclude, it's a sweet, floral, little bit tropical fragrance. The sweetness is, in my opinion, very synthetic smelling. So think of a child's doll combined with a orange plastic bottle of cheap sunscreen, and then you sort of have an idea of what this fragrance smells like. So yeah, that was Zara Bloom Breeze. Wow, I totally forgot to rate it. So I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 10 because it's not a terrible fragrance, but it's definitely not something I'm impressed with, to be honest. It also smells a little bit juvenile. It's more like an entry fragrance for an 11-year-old who wants to have her own first fragrance. You know, that's sort of what this reminds me of. I gotta be honest, I sprayed this on the inner elbow, and that was somewhere like around noon. But then last night I went to bed and I still had a little bit of the dry down left. I mean, most of the fragrance fades away pretty quickly, but that final dry down was still there. And then it actually smelled kind of nice, because I was thinking, okay, what is that smell? But it turned out to be the final dry down of this fragrance. So there's something nice about it, but the syntheticness is something that really bothers me. So yeah, it's a 5 out of 10. That's the most I can give. And yeah, so that was Bloom Breeze. The next one I tried is called Floral Serenity. And the description of this one is an icy, salty, sweet feeling that chills you out. I think that's a super weird, yeah, that's just weird. I was actually thinking, okay, maybe it's like a very special sort of, yeah, like something icy. Yeah, I don't know how else to say it. So I sprayed it, and it is nothing like that description indicates. But yeah, I gave it a sniff, and it is nothing like that description. Also, it's called Floral Serenity, but this one should actually be called Fruity Serenity, as you are hit with a blast of fruit. Now, like I mentioned on this channel, quite often, I really struggle with distinguishing what fruit it is that I'm smelling. You know, distinguishing notes in fragrance is difficult either way. So, but with fruits, it always takes me a while to really think like, oh, I think that's the one that I'm smelling. And in this one, it also took a while, but if I had to say what fruit I think I'm smelling, I think it could be strawberry. So it sort of reminds me of Go Fruity by Zara, if you ever tried that one. It's not on the website, but apparently it's still in some stores, or it has reappeared in some stores with like glitter inside or something like that. I haven't seen it myself. But Go Fruity was actually a great dupe for Burberry Her. This one, I'm not saying it smells exactly like Burberry Her or Go Fruity, but it definitely has that same blast of fruitiness. So it's sweet but tart in the same, like at the same time. And when I sniffed this, I kind of thought of this massive fruit bowl, but then also you have some, like you also put some fruits in a blender and you blend it up and you get this fruit puree, and you pour the fruit puree over the fruit bowl, and then you add some extra concentrated fruit flavored syrup or something on top. You give it a mix, and that fruit bowl is what this smells like. So like I said, I'm not sure this is strawberry, okay? But I think it could be, or maybe there's peach in here. It's a sweet fruit, but a tart fruit, or maybe there are several fruits, I don't know. But like I said, this fragrance really should be called Fruit Serenity or Fruity Serenity, because I'm not really getting a lot of florals. I'm sure they're in there though. I'm not saying that there are no florals whatsoever. I guess it's there. But yeah, if you ask me, this is straight up a fruity fragrance amongst the lines of Go Fruity and Burberry Her. It's the same vibe. It's the same type of fragrance. So I do think this is a nice fragrance. It is not for me, but neither is Burberry Her and Go Fruity. Even though I do think it smells nice, it's just too fruity for me. And to be honest, this is just my opinion, it's a little too juvenile for me. I think very sweet, fruity fragrances just remind me of teenage girls, but of course that's each to their own. But nevertheless, I didn't think this was a bad fragrance, but I'm also not extremely impressed by it or anything. So yeah, not unpleasant. I'm gonna give this I'll give it a 6.5, because I do think that if you like those fruity type of fragrances, that this might be up your alley. But personally, I'm not gonna keep it. But yeah, I do think it deserves a 6.5. So that was Zara Floral Serenity. Moving on to the next one, we have Lily's Nest. The description of this one is a vanilla bomb that makes you feel more in love than ever. I'm not really following with these texts. Like, it's supposed to be poetic or something, but it just sounds a little weird. But anyway, so a vanilla bomb. Now, let me tell you already, I don't know what type of vanilla they're talking about, but this is not a vanilla fragrance. It's a sweet fragrance, yes, but not vanilla sweet, if you ask me. Unless it's like a very, very synthetic vanilla maybe, but I instantly got that sweetness again. And at first, I actually sort of thought it was pleasant. Kind of like Bloom Breeze, like where at first spray you're like, okay, this is nice, this is not bad. But the more it dried down, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Maybe I'm being too picky with my fragrances, the more that I'm smelling fragrances, or I don't know. But the more it dried down, the sweeter it got. And yeah, I started to dislike this fragrance quite a lot. Like I said, the sweetness in here, to me, it's not really vanilla. It's more of a... I wrote down in my notes that it smelled like a melted tutti fruity flavored ice cream. Like I said, sort of that like synthetic sweetness. I'm gonna give it another spray. Yeah, the opening is fine, but I'm smelling now like I know where this scent is going. And even though the opening was fine, there's a bit of a creaminess to it. I guess there's a floral in here. It's called Lily's Nest, but you know, Zara, the names of the fragrances don't always tell you what is actually in the fragrances. So I'm sure there are florals in here, but I'm mostly getting the synthetic sweetness and it's just not my thing. So the opening to me was actually like a 6 out of 10. But then that dry down, it really started to bother me. I could smell it because I was running some errands and I got wafts of the fragrance, and I just noticed that I really didn't like it. It started to nauseate me and I ended up scrubbing it off, so that's not really a good sign. But of course, that's just me. If you follow my channel, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of overly sweet candy-like type of fragrances. So if you do like those types of fragrances, then maybe you're gonna like this one. But yeah, I'm gonna have to give the final rating a 4 out of 10. It's not the worst fragrance I've ever smelled, but I really didn't enjoy it. There's also some type of fruit in here, or I don't know, besides that sweetness, I'm smelling something that is either a flower or a fruit. If it's a fruit, I don't know what fruit it is, but I'm thinking maybe it's like melon, non-realistic melon, which would make sense as I really don't like melon. The only melon that I like is watermelon, but the orange one and the like white greenish one, I really don't like those. So maybe that's in here, and if it's not that, it's some sort of flower. And now that I'm smelling it again, it also has a bit of a cheap bathroom, what's it called? Spray, like scented spray for in the bathroom kind of scent. So it's not horrible, but yeah, 4 is the most that I can give this fragrance. Let me know in the comments, are you getting the blast of vanilla that they're talking about, or are you getting the things that I'm getting? I really love to hear, so let me know. And that was Lily's Nests. We have reached our 4th fragrance, and that one is called Enigmatic Lotus. A magical date on a summer evening, a vibrant, fruity essence embraced by the warmth of sunlight rays. So again, not really giving any notes, but they do say that it has a vibrant, fruity essence, which is also not really how I would describe this fragrance. To me, even though the name is Enigmatic Lotus, I really think, and you know, because of those names, you're like unsure about what you're smelling. So, but I really think I'm getting rose in this fragrance. These have not yet listed on Fragrantica, and also Fragrantica is not really that trustworthy either. I mean, they get the notes wrong too. So, yeah, I'm really super curious about all of these, like what the listed notes are going to be. But if you ask me, and you kind of are because you're watching my video, I really think it's a rose fragrance. If you ask me, it has rose, it has some sort of greenness to the rose. I don't know what that is. Am I smelling some sort of like an herb or something? Is that vetiver that I'm getting? Is it mint? I don't really know, but some sort of green rose. There's a little bit of woodiness in here as well, which could also be vetiver, or maybe like a little bit of just woody notes or some cedar wood or something. But cedar wood always gives that very dry feeling to me, and this one isn't, because normally I can't stand strong rose, like woody rose fragrances, like rose to oud fragrances. Ugh, I cannot handle them. This one is very soft, so it's not like bam, rose and wood, but I think it is a softly blended combination of rose, something green or grassy or herbal, and like a very soft wood. But then those sound a little bit, like I said, like dry smelling, if you know what I mean when I say that. This has sprinkled on some, yeah, there is some fruitiness or floral that is also in here. So I know I'm being all over the place with what I'm smelling, but it's really difficult. Just think of a pretty easygoing, like a green rose woody scent, but very easygoing and simple. The final dry down of this one has very small niche vibes, if you ask me. It doesn't smell super niche or anything. Don't expect that. But in that dry down, I was like, okay, if I had to tell you which one of these 5 is the most niche smelling, then I would say this one. But that's probably because of that soft rosewood combination that I'm getting. For some reason, that just gives me niche vibes. If I had to compare this fragrance to an already existing fragrance, it slightly reminds me of Balenciaga Flora Botanica, which personally I didn't like. I did not get the hype. It wasn't terrible, but it was just like super uninteresting to me. Now, don't be excited. I'm not saying this is a dupe for Flora Botanica, but that is the one that I'm thinking about just a little. So it could be a very distant cousin of a cousin or something of that one. So this one is a lot more easygoing. And like I said, there is some fruitiness or maybe it could be a floral sprinkled on top. I don't even know, but it's just something, yeah, there's just a little bit of juiciness, a little bit of sweetness. So yeah, that is the best way I can describe this one. I know my description is all over the place, but it's just really difficult to describe fragrances. Okay, so bear with me. Again, let me know in the comments what this smells like to you, and all of these, by the way. If you like this video and if you want to see more Zara videos, feel free to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button if you are enjoying this video. But yeah, that was Enigmatic Lotus, and I forgot to rate it. I'm gonna rate this one, I think I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It's okay. It's wearable. I wouldn't hate wearing this, but I don't need it in my collection, just being honest. So yeah, that was Enigmatic Lotus. We have reached our final fragrance, and this one is called Evening Flowers. A trio of notes with gourmand warmth. The elegance of gardenia with the softness of cacao and vanilla. You know what? If you follow my channel, you know that I'm a lot more into floral fragrances than I am into gourmands. That doesn't mean that I dislike every gourmand out there, but it's just not really the category of fragrances that I gravitate towards too. But I gotta be honest, for me, this is the only winner in the collection. So safe to say, this one was definitely my favorite. I think a lot of people are really going to love the Floral Serenity, as it has that Go Fruity vibe that I know was a very popular one. So that one may be like a crowd's favorite, or how do you say that? But this one is my favorite. So this is a warmer scent. Like the description says, it's more gourmand, and that is definitely the case, but it's not overly gourmand, but it definitely has like a really nice, sweet. I thought it was just vanilla, honestly, but apparently it's cacao and vanilla. So what this smells like to me is, because it kind of has a masculine vibe, okay? It's unisex, but there's something masculine in here to me. So it smells like a man who got ready in the bathroom. He took a shower and he shaved and all those things. And you get into that bathroom and you smell all of those, like those shower products, let's say. So you have that type of masculine scent, but then that same guy wears, or he puts on, a strong vanilla fragrance. And then you get both the shower products that you're smelling with like a lot of vanilla on top. You get both sides. And I actually really like that in this fragrance. It is something that personally I haven't smelled before. I think there are already so many vanillas out there. Honestly, I'm getting sick of all the vanillas, but yeah, makes sense because I'm not that much into vanilla. I know a lot of people are, so that's just me. But this one is a unique vanilla. I don't know what it is, but it's those, yeah, that masculine shower scent with the vanilla. I actually really like it. I'm gonna be honest, I am not gonna keep it in my collection, but I am gonna ask my husband to give this a try because I think he's really gonna be into this one because he loves vanilla fragrances. He wears vanilla fragrances like Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. He loves his, that's a woody vanilla, but he loves his Just Rock by Zara and Voltaire, which has sadly been discontinued. He loved vanilla, I don't know what it's called, like Dior Vanillaria or something, like the vanilla fragrance by Dior. I'll put it up on the screen, but that one he really likes as well. He liked Supreme Vanilla. No, not Supreme Vanilla. He liked Supreme Vanilla by Zara. So safe to say he likes vanillas. And I think he is really going to like this. And I would like smelling this on him as well. Again, it's perfectly unisex, but it's not like super feminine, like a floral vanilla. Even though it says gardenia. Does it have gardenia? You know what? I have no idea. I don't know what gardenia in its purest form smells like. I would never have picked it out. But yeah, that is the description that I would give this fragrance. The other ones, or some of the other ones, really have, like I mentioned over and over again, the synthetic candy-like sweetness that I really don't like. This sweetness from that vanilla doesn't really smell synthetic at all. It really smells like a nice vanilla. It's warm. The name is well chosen, even though it says flowers, and that's not really what I would think of when I smell this, but evening flowers. So this is something that I could see someone wearing in the evening or on a gray, drowsy day, like when it's sort of rainy. And this is a fragrance that would lift me up. Okay, there was someone at the door, so I don't know what the last thing was that I said. But yeah, I think I was describing when this is appropriate for wearing. Like I said, drowsy rainy days or in the evening. I think it's a pretty decent fragrance, and I'm actually gonna rate it a 7, maybe a 7.5. So somewhere around that. Let's just give it a 7.5, okay? Because it is original. I don't know any fragrances that smell like that. So even though, again, I'm not gonna keep any of these in my collection, I wouldn't mind at all if my husband kept this one in his. It's very pleasant. So that was Evening Flowers. I'm already gonna mention that there are 4 other new fragrances that I will also be reviewing. I will put them up on the screen. They have just arrived. I don't know if you heard my doorbell, but that was the mailman bringing me my new Zara package. So that review is coming up, but I have a Paris trip planned, so it will be next week, like early next week, that I will be able to make that review. So yeah, guys, I'm going to Paris, so I'm gonna sniff my ass off. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna sniff so much. They have the Guerlain store, they have Nose, they have like so many of those high-end, like the exclusive lines of Chanel and all of those. So I'm really gonna enjoy myself. Paris is like fragrance wonderland. So yeah, really looking forward to it. But that is why the other review is coming up next week. I would love to hear what you think of these new fragrances. I'm sorry if I was sort of negative about most of them, but yeah, like I said, honesty above all. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, and thanks again for watching. Again, feel free to give this video a big thumbs up if it was somewhat helpful. It really helps my channel and it's easy for you to do, so that would be great. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you for the next one. Bye!